Moving is expensive and it can cost more out of pocket than maybe you planned for. So what I've done is I've got 7 tips that'll help you save money if you're moving to Plattsburgh or if you're moving around in the area. Today we're going to talk about 7 things that you can do to save money if you're getting ready to move to Plattsburgh or really anywhere. My name is Jim Jock, and I'm a real estate associate broker with eXp Realty, and I love working with clients who are moving here from somewhere else. I love working with all my clients, but I really have a passion for those who are moving from out of the area because I've done it so many times. I was in the Air Force, my wife and I, for 21 years, and I counted up that I moved 9 times just myself in 20 years, 21 years. So it's a lot of work. It's there are a lot of things that you can learn to save money and to save time and all that. So we're going to talk about that right now. Okay, so here we go. Here are some things that you can do to save money if you're moving to Plattsburgh or moving anywhere, really. So 7 things. Hopefully it'll save you some money, time, aggravation, hassle, or whatever you want to call it. I got my list right here. I'll be checking it out. So the first thing you can do is you have to figure out what you want to move. So think of furniture in particular. There's nothing worse than packing up a bunch of stuff just to find out that you're going to throw it away when you get somewhere else. Or maybe like with furniture, how old is your furniture? How big is the place that you're going to be moving into? Because that plays a huge factor. So think about furniture. Also think about the options to buy furniture based on where you're going. If you're coming here to Plattsburgh, there are 2, maybe 3 furniture places right here in the heart of Plattsburgh. Otherwise, for other things or more peculiar things or something maybe a lot more specific, you may have to drive either to Burlington, Vermont, or somewhere south to bigger stores to have more options. So if you're moving into a bigger home, it might, well, boy, that's hard to say. It depends if you know how big the place is you're going to move to. Because if you don't know how big the place is, you don't want to go ahead and get too much new furniture and then not know if it's going to fit. So you really have to kind of weigh your options. So the only thing you can really do with that is try and figure out, well, where am I going to be, moving to or living as soon as possible, and if possible, before you even leave where you are now. Obviously, the best way to do that is to call me as soon as you know you're going to move to Plattsburgh or somewhere in the North Country, somewhere in Clinton County, and we need to get started right away so you'll have a better idea how can you plan better based on, you if we look at a house and you're under contract for a house, you know how big it is, right? So you'll know what'll fit in there. So think about that. But, the other side of the furniture question is if you have furniture that maybe you've had since college, or maybe your significant other has said, we really need to throw that thing in the dump, or maybe they've said, next time you go somewhere, I'm going to get rid of that thing. If that's the furniture that you're talking about, whether or not you need to keep or leave, maybe you need to leave it so you don't pay to have it moved. Speaking of which, a lot of these decisions come down to how are you doing the moving. If you're maybe a corporate relocation and they're paying for you to move, it's probably not as big an issue as if you are the one that's paying the mover based on the weight of all your furniture and stuff. If you're paying, then you really want to take a hard look at what it is you're going to keep and move to your new location, Plattsburgh or the area, or maybe get rid of it. So that really has a big factor on it. So who's going to pay for the move? If you're filling the U-Haul yourself and driving here yourself and loading it yourself, and anybody you can find to hopefully help you load or unload, you really want to think twice about what you're going to bring with you, all that distance and all that weight and all that strain on your back and stuff like that. So furniture, think about your furniture because it's huge. That big stuffed couch. Think about that. Number 2, and like I said, with the furniture, not bringing something not moving something you're going to throw away is going to save you because you're saving on the weight of the move. And so number two, how are you going to get boxes, wrapping paper, packing paper, all your moving supplies? There are a lot of different ways to do that. The hardest option is trying to find free boxes. A lot of the stores nowadays, as soon as something is unpacked, that box is broken apart, crushed down, and next thing you know, they've got a whole bale of it behind the store waiting for somebody to come get it. Some retail stores, like I know Walmart and Target, well, I don't know about Walmart. I know Target reuses a lot of the boxes that their stuff comes in, so you're less apt to find boxes in some of the big box stores as you are maybe a mom and pop store or somewhere that somebody who works there and they're going to set a bunch aside. That's the hardest place to find boxes. One of the easier places are places like the local U-Haul place usually has, like where you go to rent the vehicle. They usually have boxes and all the packing tape and all the wrapping paper to wrap up your dishes and things like that. That's an easier place. Your home repair places like Lowe's and Home Depot, they usually have boxes that you can buy as well. Like I said, it's a lot easier to do, but a lot of it comes down to budget. So if you've got the budget to do that, then great. And that's assuming that you're going to pack your own stuff. If you're paying for a move, or if you're doing a corporate move, or your company is paying to relocate you and they're hiring professional movers, then it's probably going to be included. And the other place you might be able to find supplies is, if you're already into the area and kind of looking around, or maybe where you live now, and you see people who are moving in, that's a great time to say, save your boxes. I'd be glad to take them off your hands. And, when you're unpacking 100 boxes from a move and somebody's willing to take them away for free, that's like gold. And, it's gold to you because then you don't have to pay for them. So that's something that really works out well. In a lot of the moves that we did in our time in the Air Force, we did it so many times, we kind of got it down pat. When you pack, all the boxes are marked with the room that it came from. Well, what we did on the other end is we used to then mark all the rooms with a piece of paper that said what room it was, like master bedroom or den, or that corresponded to the room that things came out of, like Ashley's bedroom or something. We would put a sign on the new house where Ashley's bedroom were, so the movers, when they came down the hall, they could see what was on the box and they knew which room it was going to go in. And that saved us having to go back and forth and oh, that goes over to this room, oh, this goes over to that room. So that's just a little thing that can save you some time as well. So number 3 on our list of things that will hopefully save you some money. This goes along the same conversation as the furniture decision, is the appliances decision. So if you're not sure if you want to or need to buy or bring your appliances with you, that's probably one of the big ones, because usually appliances are heavy, especially refrigerators. Stoves aren't too bad, but they're big and bulky. And if you're doing a move yourself, then that's a little different. When we moved from New York State to Wyoming, we knew we were going to be in base housing because it was a short period of time, just 3 years there. The big thing is, do we need to bring a washer and dryer? And we were told, no, you don't need to bring them. They're going to be in base housing. We got to base housing and they didn't have washer and dryer, so we then had to go buy a pair, and we had a set back in New York we could have brought. But in our market here in the North Country, it's very common that your refrigerator is probably 95% of the time the refrigerator is going to be in the house. The stove is going to be in the house. Washer and dryer, those are 50-50. So that's something that it's probably really the only thing that you'll really have to decide if you're going to bring or not. Now, the other thing that I'll say is, if you have a high-end refrigerator, I showed a house in the city of Plattsburgh, and it had the screen that showed a video of what was inside inside the refrigerator. I thought that was kind of the funniest thing. But so if you have an upper end appliance, then bring it with you, because you can always take the lower end one that's in the house you're moving into and put it in the garage or the basement or sell it, you know. But it's very common for those things to come with the house. So the other question is, what are the options for purchasing appliances if I need to? Right in the city or town of Plattsburgh, probably there's maybe 3 places that I can think of. Lowe's has a lot. Um, there's also a place called Wilson Appliance that has quite a bit as well. Um, and then there's another place, I forget what it's called. It's kind of a furniture store, appliance store. Um, so there's at least 3 places right in the Plattsburgh area. If you're moving farther north towards like Champlain, Ross's Point, Shazy, or even if you want to drive up, there's a place in Ross's Point, but a 20 to 30 minutes north of Plattsburgh in Ross's Point, called Ray's Appliance. I've heard people say that's a good option as well. So there are some places right here local that you can get appliances. Now I will tell you though, since COVID, it's a lot harder to get um, appliances for homes than it would have been before COVID, because you know how everything was slowed down during the through COVID. We tried to get a dishwasher, and I think after 3 or 4 months, I said, "Heck with this." I canceled the order just because we wanted one that was going to be quiet. We wanted a certain color because we're kind of upgrading the appliances to match all the same color and stuff. But yeah, it can take a while. I'm not sure how it's recovered since then, but so if you have appliances that are upper end, I would say definitely bring them, because you can always swap out. But most houses are going to come with the refrigerator. They're going to come with the stove, washer and dryer. Not sure. How do you know? Well, here's the deal. When you see the listing, it'll say what appliances come with the house. So if you get the paperwork from your realtor, if I show you the house or whatever, like I'm doing an offer on one today, and it says right here, it says carbon monoxide detector, smoke detector. That's common. Those are going to be there. Clothes washer, clothes dryer, dishwasher, range oven, electric, refrigerator. So that tells me those things are included with the listing, and that helps you plan, because now you know. So that's number 3. Think about your appliances, because like I said, depending on how you're moving, or even if you get here and you don't need them, do you want to pay for that extra weight or the extra strain on your back, or taking up the room that you may not need, if you didn't take them. So that's some information. Hopefully it will save you some money, or at least save you some hassle with deciding to move your appliances. Number 4 on the hoping to save you money, hiring movers. We talked a little bit about it before, but the decision to hire movers is huge. Now, I'll tell you, if you're coming into Plattsburgh, or even if you're leaving, there's like one company, one moving company in the area, and in the summertime they get booked. Imagine when the Air Force Base was here and open and active, and people were coming in and out all the time. It was a lot different story. I think there were 3 moving companies, so it scaled. I mean, so the decision to hire movers on your end, a lot of it has to do with, is it a quick turnaround time? Do you have time to do it yourself? Does your, if you have a significant other, do they have the time? Are one of you working, both of you working? If the kids are doing school from home, or whatever your situation, you really have to balance that. It might be worth having movers come and packing for you. Now, I'll tell you what I've done whenever we've had military moves, and it's the same type of move, is we try and at least go through and get rid of stuff that we don't need, or kind of declutter some of the junk stuff before they come, because you know what, it's easier to get rid of the junk before you move than trying to do it in somewhere new. It'd be kind of fresh to start that junk drawer from nothing rather than, oh, here's everything from the junk drawer. Let's put all our old junk drawer stuff in our new junk drawer. But try and downsize before you pack, whether you do it yourself or hire the movers. Um, but hiring the movers, does that save you time? No. But does it save you, well, yeah, does it save you time? Yes. Does it save you money? No, unless you're doing a corporate move. Like I said, if somebody else is footing the bill or giving you a credit towards the cost of the move, oh, in a heartbeat, I would do it. I look at things like that, around my house that I want to fix up. Can I do it? Yes. Do I have the time to do it? Not really. So, that's kind of the same decision in how you're going to apply to the move. Do you have the time and ability to pack and load and do all that type of stuff and drive a truck cross country or whatever? I wouldn't want to do it. But that's just me. So apply that to your situation and you'll either save money or save aggravation and hassle and physical strain or whatever. But at least you'll have this information to kind of weigh that, because I get it. Some people have never moved. I'm an old pro at it. So let's go to number 5. Where to stay if the house you're moving into isn't ready. Okay. So you get here and your closing isn't for 3 weeks. Where do you stay? Okay, a couple things that we can do. Number 1, if the house is vacant, maybe, I say maybe because it doesn't always work out, maybe you can rent the house until you close so you can move right in. That's one option. But honestly, it's not usually one that happens, because hypothetically, if something changed and then you're not going to buy the house, you've already moved into someone's house, and then that creates a whole bunch of other problems. So moving into the house early is not usually an option. So here in Plattsburgh, probably your best bet, like if it was only going to be a couple of weeks, there are some places that have longer term stay, like there's a microtel that has suites that you can move into, or some other, I've had people that just stayed in a regular hotel because it was 10 days and that was really the easiest option. Probably low on your list maybe is if you have relatives nearby and you're going to just crash with them for a while. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You don't really know until you try that, but that's a possible option. Or so there, yeah, I mean, family or friends for a short-term crash might be okay. Longer term, maybe not so. Maybe you get something like a longer term stay hotel type of thing. Or I've had people move here and they decided we're just going to get a lease for 6 months or 8 months, and that'll ease the stress of trying to find a house remote. So we can certainly talk about those issues when we're working through it. So yeah, where to stay if your house isn't ready? Not a lot of options, other than like a microtel or some other place type of hotel. You always want to figure out what's going to work for you, what's your budget, if you have a budget. If you don't have a budget, then yeah, a lot of it depends too on where you're leaving. But maybe you come and you buy first and then you move out. But a lot of it depends on the timing of jobs and things like that. So I get that. But I can certainly help you with that, and we can talk through the situation as it applies to you directly. So speaking of planning ahead, because this is really what we're talking about, is planning ahead. Number 6 is locking in daycare ahead of time. If you need daycare, the first thing you want to do is make sure, especially if you're working, or if you're a single parent, or if you're both working, is to work through that ahead of time. There's a list. Well, in general, you want to make sure that you have a licensed daycare. That's really my recommendation. And that's because there's enough oversight. The health department, does inspections and things like that, and certain things that you want to look for. You have to walk in, to a prospective place, and you have to feel comfortable, right? You have to feel confident that it looks like a good environment and there's an appropriate amount of learning based on the age and things like that. When our oldest daughter was a toddler, we actually pulled her out of a home daycare because we didn't feel like the provider was giving the amount of just general teaching stuff to her based on her development. So we moved her to a place that was kind of like a preschool, and she really thrives. So, but think about that. You can. I did a few Google searches that came up with several options. Sometimes Facebook group pages might be an option. If you look for that, but you always want to see proof that they're certified and that they're inspected, and that they have the credentials that they say they are. And then I would recommend offering what type of a deposit can I get to kind of save my child's space for when we get here next month or next week or 3 weeks from now or whatever it is. So have that communication, and certainly want to get something in writing about that guarantee that your deposit will lead to a full-time position for X number of your children. Okay, so lock in that daycare as early as soon as you can. And drum roll, number 7, reach out to me as soon as you decide that you're going to move, because there are a lot of moving pieces, right? Moving and moving pieces. Boy, that really goes together, doesn't it? But serious, there are things that we can do to start, getting an idea to you about what housing options may work for you, understanding some of the different, dynamics with moving. And of course, the amount of times that you've moved, will really drive your familiarity with the process. The other thing you can do is I also have other videos on my channel that you'll see linked in the end, or you can go to Living in Plattsburgh YouTube channel and look at some of the other ones that talk about cost of living and where to live, so you understand the geography and things like that. And a whole host of other videos. I'm posting new videos every week, and hope you definitely find some of these things to be informative. If you do, give me a thumbs up, down below. So you can reach out to me anytime. My name and contact information are below. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me, you can snail mail me, or send a carrier pigeon. I don't care. But reach out to me as soon as you know you're going to be moving to Plattsburgh or moving around in the area as well. I cover pretty much all of Clinton County, which is, it's within about 40-minute drive of Plattsburgh is pretty much the area that I cover. You can only drive so much, but I am so excited to look forward to helping you move to the area. I want to give you as much information about where to live, where to work, where to play, where to have fun, where the good restaurants are, where's the best cup of coffee, what can the kids do, or what can we do in the wintertime. All this information, where are the beaches, all that type of stuff is all going to be available on my channel here. Every week we post a new video. So anyway, until I do post the next video, and until you reach out to me, we'll see you soon.